This a story lost in time, a story buried within the tears, cries, agony, and suffering of the innocent. But one cannot hide truth forever, like the candle that can never be truly hidden, even if placed under the bed. I have found that story, and I'm ready to share it with you.
Before time had a name, long before maps were drawn, before borders divided lands, before ships with white sails arrived on sacred coasts, there was ALKEBU, a name whispered by the wind, sung by griots and echoed by ancestors in the drumbeat of creation. ALKEBU, mother of mankind, garden of Eden, land of the firsts. The people of this vast land didn't know it as a single continent. They knew it as many kingdoms, many nations, but one soul. From the pharaohs of Kemet to the gold kings of Mali, from the highlands of Ethiopia to the heart of the Congo rainforest, ALKEBU was a living spirit. She wasn't just land, she was memory, blood, and the breath of the earth itself. But her name, her sacred name, would one day be silenced, and in its place, a foreign tongue would say, Africa. This is the story of how that happened. In the beginning, the lands now known as Africa were a collection of divine nations. The people lived in harmony with nature, guided by oracles, spirits, and the voices of ancestors. ALKEBU was what the wise ones called her. Not just a place, but a mother, the womb of all life. Great civilizations rose under her care. The kingdom of Kush glowed like gold along the Nile. The Aksumite Empire stood proud, its stele reaching toward the sky. The Yoruba kingdoms pulsed with wisdom and rhythm. Great Zimbabwe rose in stone, whispering the strength of builders. The Ghana Empire, older than its namesake today, sat on thrones of justice and trade. In these lands there were no maps, only stories. No borders, only rivers and stars to guide them, and each people saw themselves as children of ALKEBU. But across the Mediterranean Sea, eyes watched, and they wanted her riches. In 114-6 BC, after years of war, the mighty Roman Empire conquered Carthage, a once powerful North African city-state near modern-day Tunisia. To the Romans, Carthage was a prize, but the land beyond it, that was something else. They called the region Africa Terra, a name believed to come from the Berber tribe called the Afri, who lived near present-day Tunisia. In Latin, terra meant land, so Africa Terra meant land of the Afri. Others believed the word Africa was drawn from the Latin word aprica, meaning sunny, or from the Greek afrik, meaning without cold. But it didn't matter where the word came from. What mattered is who had the power to name, and with Rome's might, ALKEBU was renamed, not in song, not in ceremony, but by conquest. After Rome fell, the name Africa remained. It clung to scrolls, to military records, and to Christian texts. When the Arabs came in the 7th century, sweeping across North Africa, they encountered this Roman name. But they too had their own visions of the land. To them, the continent was known in various names. Ifriqiya, a version of the Roman Africa used for parts of North Africa. Bilad as Sudan, land of the blacks, for the region south of the Sahara. But in the deep forests and deserts of the interior, the people still whispered ALKEBU in prayer, in ritual, and in the naming of the earth. The name lived in the soul, even as foreign tongues tried to erase it. Yet as centuries passed, more and more, Africa became the name the world used. As European empires began to rise, Portugal, Spain, Britain, France, the name Africa became a label, not one of glory, but of ownership. They drew lines on maps, calling themselves masters of regions they'd never seen. They carved the continent like meat in places like Berlin, where not a single African was present at the Berlin Conference of 1884. To them, Africa was not a mother, it was a resource, a place to take gold, ivory, and rubber, a place to capture people and turn them into slaves, a place to civilize, colonize, and baptize. The name Africa, once a region, now covered the whole continent, and with it came chains, bullets, whips, and flags that did not belong. And yet, in the face of this pain, the spirit of ALKEBU did not die. Throughout history, her children rose. Shaka Zulu, with spear in hand, united the Zulu kingdom. Ya Asantewa, grandmother and warrior, fought the British with courage few men matched. Samori Toure, Menelik II, Dedan Kimathi, and many more refused to bow, and in the 20th century, voices rose with wisdom and fire. Marcus Garvey, from Jamaica, told black people to return spiritually to their motherland, Africa. Kwame Nkrumah stood in Accra and said Africa must unite. Julius Nyerere, Haile Selassie, Patrice Lumumba, they knew that beyond colonizer names, Africa had a deeper identity. They spoke of the Pan-African spirit, a spirit that said, "We are not tribes fighting tribes. We are not broken. We are one people, one land, one soul." And slowly, with independence spreading like wildfire across the 1950s and 60s, the name Africa began to change in meaning. From a word of conquest to a word of resistance, then of power, then of home. Today, Africa is spoken with pride, but beneath the word lies ALKEBU, the soul of the continent. In the drums of Mali, she speaks. In the chant of Maasai elders, she breathes. In the dances of the Igbo, she moves. In the eyes of a child in Soweto, she waits. And there is a movement now, a spiritual rising. Scholars, spiritualists, and cultural revivalists are reviving the name ALKEBU, not to erase Africa, but to remind the people of who they truly are. That before colonizers named rivers and built forts, before chains and churches, before maps and machines, we named ourselves. In a dream, a child stood on a mountain overlooking the continent. The child saw the pyramids of Egypt glowing in golden light, the lakes of Tanzania reflecting the stars, the forests of Congo whispering secrets, the deserts of the Sahara roaring with ancestral breath. And the child said, "Is this Africa?" A voice deep and loving answered, "No, child, this is ALKEBU. It has always been, even when they called me other names, even when they broke my people, I remained. I waited for you to remember me. Africa is now known across the world. It is powerful, beloved, and reclaimed. But behind the name is a spiritual truth, a name older than empire, a name that cannot be found on a map, but in the bones of its people. That name is ALKEBU, a name of greatness, a name of bravery, a name of strength, unity, and spirituality. So call her Africa, call her ALKEBU, but always call her home. Subscribe to watch more videos like this.